I admin, um, I have admin, I should say, a few Facebook groups, and I've stepped back because the rescue is just that much work.
I'll
Um,
bet.
and it's one of those situations where I just can't. I can't
Yeah.
that kind of time. I can't message you back. I'm sorry that you weren't allowed into our group. Did you answer the questions? Did you follow the rules? Did you like? I'm sorry that you posted ball pythons for sale when we clearly told you you weren't allowed to post animals for sale. Like, I don't know
Yep.
what I don't understand what people want.
The
Well,
amount of people who just don't bother to answer any of the questions is nuts. Like, I figured there would be some, but it's the vast majority of people don't bother to do any of
Yep.
that.
Yep.
yeah,
I've
Amelia.
learned on Facebook and social media to just put my blinders on. I go on my page, I look at my page, I interact with people that are on my page, and I stay in my lane.
I've been trying to do that more. I used to spend way too much time on Facebook. Probably do still spend more time than I really should. And so I've been trying to kind of step back so that I stay less distracted and feel like it's better for my mental health. But now it's like, oh, I should really probably be more active in like the actual couple of groups that I do admin and
Yeah.
stuff. I've got a whole list of posts I've been meaning to make in the group that I help mod with Aaron and stuff that I've just got to kind of sit down and come up with all the content one of these days.
I think this is
Yeah.
an interesting conversation. We could start it here, even though this isn't a part of the agenda. I think it's needed and it's beneficial. So, I don't know, Brian, if you're on the Frog and Toad Facebook group. You are okay. So, yeah, I mean, we've
I'm
talked
not
about
though.
this. Oh, you're not?
No, I really am.
Oh,
I like a few pictures here and there, but man,
yeah.
I the stuff that's in that group is well over my pay grade. I love frogs and toads, but in my world of what goes on, I think the most interaction I've had is a few tree frogs over the years, and I mean, right now I have a couple marine toads, which are pretty awesome. But in terms of longevity, the only thing I've ever had any success with is a Pac-Man frog, and as far as I'm concerned, that's just a stomach with legs. I know what that needs to survive.
I was wondering if you did any amphibians or if it was exclusively reptiles.
I will take in amphibians, and then I will find the proper care for them elsewhere as soon as humanly
Okay.
possible. I'm I just am I'm like a guy with a terrible thumb that can't grow things. I just uh, amphibians do not do well long term with me, and I recognize that. So I try to I don't obviously adopt them out or anything like that. It's more of I try and place them as soon as they come in. This way they have what they need. Same thing with invertebrates as well. Things like tarantulas and scorpions. I will work with them. They don't scare me, but I'm not keeping them long term.
Hmm.
I say that. I do have two tailless whip scorpions, which I find to be absolutely fascinating.
Well, those are cool. I have one of those at home. I'm still working on trying to figure out how and where I'm going to put like a nice display setup for.
I actually just I have two, and I just got both of them to molt in the last 2 weeks, and
Nice.
they're eating nothing but dubia roaches, and it's fascinating. Sorry, that was completely off topic, but I'm really excited about them.
Hmm. Yeah, I
No,
have
that's
a friend
amazing.
who's was sort of in the same boat as far as frogs, that it's like very skilled reptile person, didn't really have the frog touch. So now I've got a really nice dart frog vivarium in my living room that he gave me when he decided to let those go to focus on reptile stuff.
Yeah. Well, that man, we could go so many different directions right now with this. I just thought real quick we'd make a comment here just about some of the Facebook groups and stuff. I think we talked a little bit about this with DJ and a few other people in different parts of these clips that we've released. But for the Frog and Toad Facebook group, man, it's been pretty crazy. I was actually one of the original members whenever that thing first started up, and I was on like probably 4 or 5 different groups and was sharing some posts. And there's a couple of there that are on Facebook. I just had some disagreements with. It was more like one or two, but one of them was important because it was about American toads. And if you know me, it's
That's
like,
exactly where I thought you were going with this.
yeah. So it was like, well, you can't really change anybody's mind because like they pretty much were set. And it's like, respectfully, I just, left some of those groups. A couple of them I didn't have any problems with. I just wanted to focus completely on one group because they allowed me to be, an admin and to make decisions. And I thought, well, I came from a lot of the forums before anything. So if you look at Dendroboard and the Old Frog forum, there was some great people on there. One of the guys who I really looked up to, Frank Indiviglio, was on there. I don't know if you know him, being in New York. He was the curator for the Bronx Zoo for a long time. But
Okay.
he had some blogs that he would write, and I actually reached out to him on a personal level, and I got him on Facebook. But yeah, he was on there, and a handful of other people, and Josh's Frogs actually sponsored that early on, and I thought how good of a resource the Frog Forum was. I actually helped to save a lot of people's animals on that, and I don't know what happened, if they lost the rights to it or whatever, but I don't know anybody like nowadays that can get on there. Like, I even lost the ability, even if you put the password and username in. But anyway, the reason why I say all that is because I took a lot of the knowledge and interest that I had from those old forums from very educated people, and brought it into the Facebook group, which is why we have, like, people can tag Josh's Frogs or Carnivorous Plant Nursery or whatever, Tar Heel Ants. Like, so I tried to get very forward thinking with it, because if we have animal rescues or we have whatever, and somebody's like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do, like, we found this animal, or I want to buy this plant, would affect the animal, you could tag the business and ask them directly. And I think that's really special, because how many Facebook groups have that?
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Most of the time, most commercial entities don't want to be tagged in anything on Facebook, unless it's a positive review of the company itself,
It's been
I
kind of
gotta
hard.
say, I'm not sure how effective that's gonna be with us, since it's our marketing team that is running our social media. If people have questions that they'd like to direct to Josh's Frogs as a business, they're probably better off emailing or calling our customer service.
That's what Riley could say. I mean, we also recommend the Josh's Frogs VIP group, where they could get in contact with everybody. But
That's true. Yep.
there's also some keepers and curators and stuff that are on the Frog and Toad Facebook group from Josh's Frogs, so they might
Yep.
see it, and they might respond. But
That's true.
it's just been interesting, because, like, some of these ideas that maybe they're just not common practice right now, I personally think are at some point hopefully going to catch on. But I've caught some flack for some of it. Like, when I made a big group post about, like, some of the businesses in the group, they were mad. Like, a handful of people were mad about carnivorous plants and ants and stuff, and it's like, well, I mean, do you just put your frogs in a box, like a shoebox? Don't they, like, ever interact with anything? I mean, we have so many people on here that are keeping bioactive enclosures. Why wouldn't you incorporate carnivorous plants or bog plants, or swamp plants? Or, like, why not get an ant colony and see if you can keep that, and then start feeding them off to your frogs? Like, there's so many things you can do. And I don't know, just some people, very, I think, closed-minded, have caused a little bit of a rift, because it's like, well, if a business or a company or a media brand wants to post in there, they're probably concerned they're going to catch flack, because it's not the standard of what everybody's used to. But I mean, most of these people joined in like 5 months ago and think they're a top contributor. So I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to rant.
Well,
but
I mean, it's very frustrating to it's very frustrating to let the status quo continue, number one, right? Because we all know, as I talked about off camera a little bit ago, things have changed drastically in the 18 years just in husbandry alone, let alone practices, understanding, Lori Tarini with neurobiology of reptiles and things, and understanding the neuroscience behind it now. More so than, being commonplace. I mean, not just stuck in a lab or something like that. It's now into the keeper's hands, and the understanding is there and becoming more apparent. You have to look at all of it objectively. And if you can't, I don't necessarily think those people should keep reptiles or amphibians in your case. If you are that dead set in not trying to provide something different that has been proven not to be fatal, I really think that it's kind of the way it should go. I'm reminded of a story somebody told me about 5 or 6 years ago. I don't remember whom, and I'm sorry if they happen to watch this, that I'm not giving their name out. I deal with like 1,000 people a week, so good luck. I mean, my kids are lucky I remember their names, but he did a thesis paper for a degree in ecology. I don't remember specifics, and I apologize for that as well. To quote something without all the real facts bothers me. He did, I think it was it might have been the Gray's tree frog or the Cuban tree frog, or so one of the more common tree frog species. And he created, it might have actually been red eyes now that I think about it. And he created a rain chamber within a standing shower, like a cutout from a house. And he did this as their main environment. And he created the rain chamber first and then added everything in. And he did this as his thesis. That always stuck with me, because here you have somebody that was doing a thesis that really hits home to a keeper oriented style of how to properly have something in captivity. And while the exact situation may not have been perfect or idyllic or bioactive or what have you, it was still creating something from nature that these animals would be introduced to in the wild into your home and into their lives, which I feel is the most important part of that. And obviously it's not sterile, and injured animals need different care and things like that. But for the general keeper that goes to XYZ pet store or orders from online or goes to XYZ show, providing those animals that proper husbandry is really there. And proper husbandry can go farther than what we standardize, think about it, in terms of bringing nature in. I mean, I started doing this years ago, primarily because I wanted to bring nature inside. I wanted that slice of the rainforest in my house, and being able to see outside, but inside is a really terrible way to put it, but it's really the truth.